Okay. Oh. The smooth, the swipe, the currents form. Just a little bit break from the norm. Starts a little salt, no, not me. And all that hardcore dancing gotten be a little bit out of control. The groove, the fans, learn about the groove, the soul, romance. What's up, man? Hello? Hello? Hey, how you doing, man? Doing well, man. 1 second, let me get you live in a second. Actually, you called me in the middle of a song, so you got about 3. No, you called. Yeah, it's fine, man. You got about 3 minutes before I actually can get back on the air. Summertime. It's summertime. Yeah, it's summertime, so have some fun. Get your Jeep, get your Benzo. Only in Nissan 6 and them Renzos. Yeah, on the pop. A place called the Plateau. Everywhere I go. Oh yeah, it's Project News and media. So what's going on, man? Oh man. Yeah. Gotcha. Alright, so that's fine, man. That's cool. Actually, I'm live streaming now. I'm talking to you on the phone actually right now. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. So this is something I have to do at home. This freaking internet is terrible here. Okay, let me switch you around, okay? Because the song is actually about to end, so I can do it in the middle of the song. So. Actually, so. Okay, put your phone on mute, okay? And I'll tell you, I'll say hello, and then ask you if you're on the air, okay? Alright, put your phone on mute. You're listening live to WCKS The Whale Radio, and this is the Ology Show. So, officially we're going to get to be able to start. So today I actually have my guest, Mr. Calvin Bailey. Calvin, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, there you go. So it sounds like you're busy right now, buddy. Everything's going well, buddy. Everything is going well. So how's the music going for you, by the way? The last time we had an interview with you, you actually were still doing the shows. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, so don't forget your boy when you become all famous and stuff like that. You saying Tank and Tyrese, heavy hitters in the music industry, buddy. Gotcha. So, one thing that I was going to talk to you about is the situation that was going on, because I really didn't call you for your music, which is sad. I didn't call you for your music. What I called you for is to talk about the situation with Philando. That's his right name? That's how you spell it? Philando Castillo. And as well as Alton Sterling. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they call him that on the street. So we have one guy in Sterling, which, that's sad because he left 5 kids behind. And then you got Sterling, who left his daughter behind right in front of her face. So, as an artist, I know that you guys, music has influenced so many people, a whole, well, especially hip hop music, a whole generation of people has completely been influenced by this. So, as an artist, what do you take from this situation? So, in this case specifically, though, do you feel like, even despite the fact of branching out, do you feel like, analyzing that situation, do you feel like people will be justified to be angry? So, prime example, if you use NWA, they came out with their movie straight out of Compton. So, and they showed basically the inspiration behind After Police. So, do you think that the people are justified, or artists are justified for saying a situation like After Police, or justified in beginning to develop so much more hatred for it? Because you look at Alton Sterling, he was the 559th person this year. Castillo was officially 560. Do you think that that's a reason to be angry, or no? Gotcha. Yeah, I notice a lot of artists they do sell the dream, but I guess like I said, I think the one thing that in this day and age we don't need a dream. We actually need something to physically happen. And so, prime example, like Jesse Williams, he gave a beautiful speech, but what realistically is being done about it? People are saying how inspirational this the speech is and that he gave at the BT Awards and everything like that. But realistically, we still have a system that's systematically dissecting. You know, it's not even systematically being racist anymore. It's systematically dissecting us, and it's systematically basically torturing people and finding new ways to make minority groups irrelevant. And I like the way that I believe it was who was it that was saying it? It was I don't know. I'm sorry for saying it like that. I remember just hearing this quote from somebody saying that you look at an issue. You look at an issue and so like minority issue. Prime example, like LGBTQ TQ. I think it was actually Jesse Williams I was listening to. They said that he said that um that minorities issues. So, prime example, like LGBTQ, you say, yeah, it was hard for them to fight for so many years. But you look at a situation like getting their rights. Realistically, they didn't really start. They were out for a while, but really they didn't push for their rights to be qualified since the '60s. And you look at them, yeah, now they just now getting allowed to be married and everything like that, and be in the military and stuff like that. But it was almost faster than getting minority rights for blacks and Hispanics and even Asians. You get what I'm saying? So realistically, there needs to be an action. There needs to be something different, and there needs to be something that make people self-aware and self-analyze that this is actually a problem. Because I'm pretty sure that if you look at the casual white person, they don't think that this is an issue. So, huh? Oh no, what I was just saying is that I don't think this is an issue that actually is being analyzed. I think this is a situation where you have people who are ignorant to the concept that there is a problem. So, for an example, like I said, I was just saying that. What do you think that there should be an issue? What do you feel that should be recognized by everybody in general? That minority issues, just like the one that just happened with Sterling and as well as Castiel, what do you feel should be recognized? Because when you look at these guys, stereotypically, media shows Sterling with his goals in his mouth, and he looks like an average black guy. You know what I mean? Or the stereotypical black guy. And for Lando, Castiel, at the scene of his crime, even when that happened, they show these images of their as if they were in their normal personal attire, but stereotypical stuff, tall tees or saggy pants and stuff like that. These imageries were used for these people. So, what do you feel is the issue? What do you feel will be a good starting point to start this action, this movement, where people sit down and analyze that: are they the problem, or am I the problem? You get what I'm saying? Gotcha. And so, I mean, I don't know. I don't see. I don't know how you would say that we need to find a new outlet. I guess maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. So can you basically kind of break that down in a different way, maybe? So, hello. Yeah, can you break that down again a different way? I'm sorry, maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. Okay. Okay. This is WCKS, the Well Radio. You're listening live to the Ology Show with History Williams, and I have my guest Calvin Bailey. He's known as the artist as UK the Joker. And how do you feel right now about the political situation right now? What's going on with Donald Trump and Hillary? Obama just gave his approval and his support for Hillary Clinton. We still don't know who um, Donald Trump is going to pick for vice president. What do you feel personally about the political situation right now? That's the best way you can put it, right? Without digging a hole. So what about we just also talked about well, this is actually going back into the Sterling as well as it's gonna lead into the question about political stuff. So with that being said, do you feel like there's an issue with gun control when it comes to situations where men are getting hit? So like you use a situation with Castiel. Castiel had his right to have a weapon, but he was unloaded a few shots at him. So do you feel like there needs to be a recognition of gun control as well as a recognition of basically being self-aware of people as well? So like training and learning people and how people are and stuff like that, you know. So common manners and like how to handle certain situations. Do you think there needs to be more influence on those type of situations? Okay. Okay. You're listening to WCKS The Well Radio. So Calvin, any final words before you leave out, buddy? I know you got to go over to your interview. Oh man, you ever want? Good morning, GBSU. So I have 3 minutes until my next guest come on. She's from Louisiana. Her name is Shelton Bailey, and she used to be a police officer for Louisiana. So I'm glad that Emmanuel Phillips is out there. So shouts out to you, Manny, and the three other people that's out there listening to me. Again, you're listening live to WCKS The Well Radio, and we're talking about the issue right now with the Sterling situation that happened, as well as the Castiel situation. So, if you want my personal opinion, excuse me if the phone rings, and like I said, I'm going to have a family member of mine who used to be a police officer join the show, and let me know, right, if you can hear me or not. But, the situation with Sterling, it's amazing because the fact that you have these typical people who are constantly being antagonized, who are being, what's up, Emmanuel? Appreciate you, buddy. They got this situation right now where you look at these people and they're being murdered. They're being informal version of lynch. Yeah, it might be through a bullet or a gun or harassment in some form or fashion. But they're being lynched, they're being harassed, and it's not being recognized. It's not being looked at. So I say this. I say that we need to recognize this situation. I think that we need to look at this situation in depth. I think that we should really self-analyze. Are we as black people, Hispanics, or minority groups, are we just letting it just get away, letting it just go? Are we able to realize that maybe we need to stand firmer in our beliefs? So, I'm going to say that again in a different way. Hold on. Let me self-analyze. I'm sorry. Do we as a people, the question I'm asking is this: do we need to analyze ourselves? Do we need to look at self before we say that somebody else is wrong? So this is a problem. This is being aware of a situation that's happening to all of us. You know, I fit the profile, you know, of a person that could have easily been Sterling, could have easily been Castiel, could have easily been Trayvon Martin, could have easily been all the rest of these guys. Yeah, I'm doing a farm like this, but I could have easily been that way. So do I need to analyze myself? Do I need to victim blame myself? Or the people who were in these situations where it tragically happened? Do I need to look at those guys? Or do I need to look at the people who actually committed the crime? Don't get me wrong, we could help our situation a little bit better. But do I need to analyze self? So, while we still wait for our guest to come on, I'm going to play another track. But like I say, I'm trying not to get personally. I'm trying to look at this as objective as possible, without being as angry as possible, because this is a situation that's happening to my people, my wife's people. You know, any person that's out there. You know, realistically, no offense, even to our white counterparts, we are your people. If you sit there saying that you're proud to be America, you're proud to be patriotic, well, then we're your people. We are your kind. We're your brothers, your sisters. When you go to war, there wasn't just a white man running up that hill or running down there to save lives. It was white people as well doing the same thing. They were out there saving lives and saving this country. It was white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Arab people, Muslims, Jewish. It doesn't matter. All of these different people were out there trying to save the world. This is WCKS The Well Radio. You're listening live to the Ology Show. Hello? Hey, how you doing today? I'm okay, and I'm trying to go live on these different media streams, so I'm working that at the same time while talking to you. So I have Shelton Bailey on the line. Hello? Good morning. So, Miss Bailey, before you go into anything about our topic today, so can you tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself?
I'm from the New Orleans area, so I work several different agencies there. I have a degree in criminal justice and sociology from Dillard University, and I was raised in New Orleans, so I know a lot of criminals as well as a lot of police officers. So I have a lot of experience with dealing with both sides and hearing both sides of their experiences.
Okay. So, what made you want to go into criminal justice?
At the time, I was just excited about the possibility of finding out why people go to jail and figure it out. Other than thinking I can make a difference. If I can just get these types of contact with them, then maybe it will encourage them to try. Making them think about life. Taxing emotionally, mentally as well.
Okay. So, that made you ultimately leave the police force. So, what did you specifically do?
I'm sorry.
What did you specifically do? I know that you said that you used to work with juveniles, right?
I worked with juveniles, adults.
Okay.
All of them adult juveniles at the time. They were people at the age of 17 to 21. They were old enough to go to jail, but at some point I was in the morning parish at the time.
Okay.
They were actually trying not to make an adult. So I did the booking process. I ran their records. I fingerprinted them, those pictures that you see on the news. I took those pictures, I posted them, I processed them, and I got them into the suit. I also worked in corrections. I dealt with inmates. So there as well is another different experience. You tend to think that they're paying a price for their crime, and they're paying the price because they're away from their families, but their mental state doesn't change. They get comfortable. So it's not really a punishment, it's just a late.
Okay. So, when analyzing your situation and your experience, what do you feel about the situation with Sterling as well as Castiel? I know that we quickly talked about it a little bit earlier today, and like I said, I'm better that I'm glad I did this show today instead of talking about the situation yesterday, because I think I let raw emotions get into the way, and there was a lot on my part. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a lot of fussing and cussing on my part, and you kind of heard that a little bit today. So, what do you feel like about the situation?
It's down to the fact that the policing now is scared policing. They're afraid. They're afraid of the threat, even though you know you put on that uniform, it is a threat. However, the threat is real. So I think a lot of it is panic and overreacting. The fear of dealing with young black men period, is there. Of course, they would never admit it, but many officers that I've heard, they don't want to go home to their family. So they'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. So at the end of the day, they want to go home. So they're practicing scared policing, and they're panicking in a situation that was a non-threatening situation. This young man had a gun indeed, but never had a chance to pull a gun. So just because he had a gun on his person don't mean that he was a threat to them. But many of us who can have a gun, does that do it mean we're a threat? So at the end of the day, it was just that fear that they felt, that panic, and they overreacted.
Okay. I think when you talk about the gun being on this person, you look at Trayvon Martin, the situation with Trayvon Martin. One of the main defenses that got George Zimmerman off was the fact that a stand your ground law. And you look at the situation with Castiel, that was the last guy who was just recently killed, and he had his pistol on him, as well as Sterling as well had a weapon on him as well. And those were, I don't know if Sterling was legal, but I know that Castiel's was a legal weapon that he had. And you look at those situations. D.L. Hughley said that right before he did an interview on CNN, is the fact that those are rights that he had. And those are rights that people like the NRA are fighting for. So do you feel like as a minority, it's really a one-sided right, or do you think it's more of a bad situation where people just profile them instantly?
Well, the history shows that these laws were not put in place to protect us. It's not for the minority, it's for the majority. So at the end of the day, we're told we have equal rights, and even though it's said and written, but the practice of equal rights has not been into effect since the beginning of America. So it is what it is. However, we can't change anything until we start collectively as minorities getting together, voting, and making our stand. But if we ignore it and wait till something happens, and that's what's happening. Getting busy with your life, we're not focused. We're not driven like the civil rights movement for a change. We have to have a new movement to fight for a change. And it can't just be a portion of us. Because it's just the portions. Numbers make a difference. And we have to say it matters. It matters enough to sacrifice our time to make a stand. And we have to make a stand because we're losing young men, minorities at an alarming rate for nothing. There are many incidents in law enforcement where we come on the scene where there is a weapon. And it's many countless cases that if the arrest happens without incident. And in this case, an arrest could have happened without incident. We searched numbers and numbers of people with weapons on them without incident. It's just these individuals panic and they're scared. And so they overreacting. They have to be held accountable. Until we get convictions on these big.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I talked to Calvin today, and he was saying kind of the same thing. I personally felt that it was he was confused by the question, or maybe he just didn't know how to answer that question properly. Is the fact that it is true that these people need to be held accountable. Like I explained to you earlier today, there was this Asian American guy who got prosecuted for accidentally killing a black man. His round went off in his gun, and it actually hit a brick wall. While when it hit the brick wall, it ricocheted and it killed the man. So he got prosecuted. He's the first police officer at that time. I think 5 or 6 years at that time to get actually prosecuted for murdering somebody in a situation where he was that just needed that person to be apprehended. Not necessarily the person had a weapon on them or anything like that. And I know that Asian American community in New York was livid about that because it's like that they didn't believe that he was in the right. He shouldn't have shot his weapon off. And like how you said, that scare tactic. I think that they were upset more about, and from what the interviews were saying, that they were more upset about the fact that it was easier to prosecute an Asian American, a minority, than the white men who proved that they actually murdered this man in cold blood, almost. So I think that is very much so true what you're saying about being aware and as well as acknowledging that these people did wrong and making these people be prosecuted for their situation and the way.
But then now you want a change. Change is not going to happen until we as minorities be held accountable also for failing to act, for failing to do anything other than just talking about it.
Yeah, that that's actually nail on the head. And when you think about this situation as well, you go into politics as well, and you look at how significantly the tides have changed when it came to politics. As much as a person like Bernie Sanders received so much of a push, realistically, he could not have won. He was fighting to lose a battle because of the fact that those same people that were excited about him did not show up. So how do you think that we can meet? Just imagine if there was a way that we can fix this problem where we get people excited about their rights.
We as parents in the community, the elders in the community, we have to not make it okay that you rather watch TV all day, play the PlayStation all day, and we can't get you to come and make a statement to say, hey, I don't want to be that next guy. My life matters. So if you don't come and see your life matters, then it doesn't speak as loud as when you have others saying, yes, Black Lives Matter. Well, where are they? Where are they? They have to come forward. They have to come forward and say, my life matters. This needs to stop. But they're not making a movement. They're not making a stand. And you have to make a stand. You have to have a voice other than sitting on your couch.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I believe that is very much so right. Because it's right that even if you think about the situation, well, there was a situation at my school where the Black Student Union, they got together, and the Black Lives Matter movement for Grand Rapids got together to do not a demonstration, but just basically a prayer and a talk for the kids in Missouri. Remember the University of Missouri situation at Mitsu when they had this whole problem with racism against athletes, African American athletes, as well as other issues were not being addressed when it came to the situation with diversity. And they did this big demonstration. They had about 100, I believe, 100 to 200 people there. And they did the demonstration. So many people came out. People stood out in the rain. It was cold. But it didn't go nowhere, realistically. Despite the fact that that situation fixed itself eventually, in a way, because the president stepped down, and I believe one of the authority figures stepped down outside of the coach stepped down. There was really nothing done because of the fact that we see that there was a problem, we think that it's fixed. So, but the problem is not fixed. So the problems go deeper into that. The problems go deeper in the standpoint that it goes all the way to politics. It goes all the way to what's going on in our community. I remember even being in New Orleans, they used to have these schools specifically geared to like Muslim children, and they were teaching these kids about their culture. These kids knew their culture, they grew up with their culture, and they were proud of their culture. But it's completely the counter opposite with other people and minority groups. There's no knowing your culture, growing up with your culture. And even that's even addressing my situation. I feel like I didn't receive as much knowledge and growth in my culture. I knew Martin Luther King for I Have a Dream and that he has a birthday which is considered a national holiday, so that means I get off school. Not how much more he went into.
Right.
you know.
You know, it's not as many Jewish people incarcerated. They're there, but not as many. It's not as many Muslims. A lot of them become Muslims once they're in prison, but that come in. When your culture and your religion should be one and the same. And many times when people want to have a religion and then their culture be different, then the lines are blurred, and they make it okay to step outside. Many times we don't need the law to keep us in order if we follow and practice our religion. It doesn't matter what your religion is. They basically have the same laws and rules. And if we govern ourselves accordingly, and at some point, we have to allow our culture and religion to be one or the same. Instead of saying, hey, it's okay that I'm one thing, and then over here on Sundays, I'm something else. So when you find those religions that consistently, that they follow and they pray to their God and obey by the God's rules, but their God's rule is the same that kind of coexists with the law. They say don't kill, you don't kill. It is what it is. Many times we look at our kids today, and they have no religion, and they make their own culture. The culture is constantly changing. So then, therefore, there's no standard. They keep changing. They're changing, they're moving to whatever they feel like. They're operating in what's cool, what's going to get them on TV, what's going to get them heard, what's in the music today. That's their culture.
Yeah. That's very emotional, more in depth. So, I know that you're busy today. Do you have any final words before you go?
If you register late and can't get the vote to make the election, register anyway. Make your voice heard. Make your voice heard. If you don't do anything, then vote because your vote matters. Who we put in the office to make policies and to make a difference depends on you voting. So if nothing else, this is a time that we have to come out and go and vote to make a change.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bailey. I greatly appreciate it. You sure? You done? You sound like you're ready to go for some more. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. This is WCKS The Well Radio, and you're listening live to the Ology Show. My name is History Williams, and I'll be right back.